So it was Passover, and Jesus wanted us to prepare a meal. We were all supposed to get together and eat. And then he gave us some cryptic instructions. But he's Jesus. He's always doing the prophetic thing.
Yeah, so Jesus told us about some guy with like a jar, right? He was going to show us to the spot that we was going to be eating at. Man, look, the point is, me and John pulled up to the spot and started prepping the meal, right? And then everybody else came through. Like, it was lit, yo. I'm talking about, like, Bart pulled up. I mean, Bart, Matt, and James.
Philip, Nathaniel, and then the master came.
Yeah, so he came in with the whole team, It was crazy. Like, we had lamb, we had wine, there's some bread.
So, yeah, everything was cool. I mean, I wasn't really excited about the whole Passover thing. I didn't know too much about it, but I was just ready to eat.
So I was waiting for the master so we could serve the food. And then he tells me to fill the basin with water. And then he takes off his coat. And then he tells us, I'm going to wash all your feet.
I couldn't believe it. Like, is he really about to start washing our feet? But then he went over to Bartholomew and he actually started washing his feet. Like, he was serious.
Yo, he washed my feet.
He really washed our feet.
Yeah, so I told him, that's a service job. Like, you're not about to be out here washing my feet. Like, come on now. These other brothers sitting here, like, I was looking at them and I'm like, yo, you really finna let this man wash your feet? But I said to Jesus, well, I'm gonna tell you, you better than this, man. But then Jesus hit me with the, hey, if I can't wash your feet, then you won't be able to be a part of anything that I'm doing. So, okay. So I was like, well, if that's the case, well, you done washing my feet. Come on, wash my hands, wash my hair, and maybe I'm gonna get my elbows too. You know what I'm saying? You can't reach over there.
Yeah, Peter, he's crazy. He's always doing the most.
So Jesus comes back to the table, and if the night wasn't already weird enough, he was like, so let's eat one more time so I can die. Like, really?
I mean, that was weird, but it's whatever. It was time to eat.
So, did you feel away when he said that?
Well, I mean, was I supposed to? I mean, we were there to eat, so let's eat.
So Jesus, he went to bless the food, and then he started to get even more weird. Like, he picked up the bread, and he said it was his body. And I'm like, your body? nah. And then, but then he was like, yo, like, this wine is my blood. So eat and drink. And
So did you eat it?
I mean, yeah, I was hungry.
Yo, dinner was weird, man. First, he sends us to some random crib to eat at, and I still don't even know who house it was. Then he decides to wash our feet. Then he's like, I'm gonna die. So here's my flesh and blood, so eat it. No. Don't even laugh yet, because it gets better. Because after he tells us he gonna die, he says that one of us is gonna be responsible for it.
Okay. What?
Yeah. He said one of us was going to betray him. So I looked over at Thomas and I'm like, who's he talking about?
Well, like, at this point, I didn't really know what was happening. I just knew things like were getting really awkward, you know? Like, everybody was trying to figure out who Jesus was talking about. And, I mean, the thing is, Jesus, he talks crazy, like, a lot. But he's never wrong. He's always right. So, like, we knew whoever he was talking about was in that room with us.
Looking back, Judas was awfully quiet that night.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what was going on. It was just too much for me, so I left.
So after a while, Jesus took us to pray. And this wasn't out of the norm because we're always praying. That's what we did. But here we are in Gethsemane. And at a certain point, he stops.
Yeah, he said that he was feeling heavy, like sorrow was permeating his soul. And after that morbid dinner we had, I can only imagine what he was probably feeling.
Jesus wanted us to pray with them. When it got to a certain point while we were walking, Jesus was like, the rest of y'all can stay here. I'm only taking Peter, James, and John. So I'm like, wow, this is what we're doing now? And here we go again. Peter, James, and John always get to go, and nobody else, but it's all good with me.
So we followed him away from the others. And then he stopped again and told us to pray, just like he told the others. And then he told us he was going to go up a little further just to pray by himself.
Yeah, we fell asleep.
Jesus woke us up and was rebuking us. And he was right. We should have been able to pray with him. We should have been able to cover him. He was being tormented, and spiritually, we should have been there to undergird him and support him. So he goes back to praying again. Then John comes and says, Jesus told us we should pray so that we weren't tempted. I wonder if that's what he meant at the table.
But we fell asleep again.
He gave us 3 times to pray with him, to pray for him. And I feel like we failed him.
So, how did you pull this off?
Well, I just told him, like he's the one over there. I mean, Jesus and them were all together, you know? So I just told them leaders. He was with them. So I'll kiss one of them on the cheek. And that was it.
So Jesus wakes up again, and he says it's time for me to be betrayed. So once again, all of us are looking around until we saw him. This mother... this fool. I can't curse, right? No. Okay. All right.
So I started thinking to myself, is he really about to betray us?
This sellout.
But like, I'm tired of being broke. Real talk. We always give in to the poor, feeding these thousands of people. We all left our jobs, not making any money, you know? I'm just tired. Like, he's doing all this talking about the kingdom. But we ain't got no riches, no gold, definitely no silver. Till now.
I'm looking around and I'm trying to figure out what Jesus is about to do. Like,
I'm finna lose it. Like, you were not about to take my teacher that easy.
Everything happened so fast. Judas came with the soldier, trying to take away Jesus, and then Peter cut the soldier's ear off.
Like, Peter really cut this soldier's ear off. Psh, I knew Jesus wasn't gonna be down with that. He even picked up the ear and healed the soldier. But they still took him away.
None of us knew this could happen. Even though he told us this would happen, we didn't think this could happen now.
Like, I can't believe they took him away like that. Like, I even followed him from a distance to see what was about to go down. I knew how to fight too. I didn't know how to just let it happen. I still remember. I remember when those people asked me if I knew him. I didn't want to. I mean, I didn't want to go down like that. So I said no. I was scared, I was scared, and I'll never forget that last denial. Jesus told me I would do it, and I can't believe I actually did it. When Judas left the table at dinner, I told Jesus I would never betray him. I told him I would never be the one.
Yeah, so I was the governor at the time, during Jesus' trial. And, I remember when they marched him into my quarters. And, I knew about this guy. I heard about him. I heard that he was, a healer, a teacher, a prophet, in some respects, even a rabbi. So I knew that this was going to be quick. Like, there was absolutely no way that, between he and Barabbas, that the people would choose to set Barabbas free.
I had a parole hearing. The government does it every year because they let somebody go free. And I knew they wasn't going to let me go because they know. They know.
So I went to go talk with this man, and it was almost like he didn't care. Like, usually criminals try to plead their case and tell me why I should let them free, but, he didn't say anything. It was to the point where I had to ask him, hey, are you Jesus? Is what they are saying about you true? Like, give me something. So, anyway, I had to, as governor, ask the people, who should I set free, Barabbas or Jesus? And I knew, that they weren't going to set Barabbas free. It was more of a formality for me to just ask the question. But they started to shout Barabbas' name.
They was shouting my name. Really? Like, how? Don't they remember what I did? How could they just let me go free?
How could they let Barabbas go free? Anyway, as governor of the people, I had to sentence this man, Jesus, to die. But then my wife came up to me out of nowhere and she was like, Pilate, you cannot be responsible for this man's death. And I remember the look in her eye. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. So I went to the people and I said, hey, if you want this man to die, it is going to be your responsibility. I am washing my hands clean of this.
I was free. I was really free. I just knew I was going to die that day. And so I looked back and I wondered, what the heck did this guy do so bad? Because, he wasn't like me. I murdered anyone that I wanted to. What was his crime? Because they immediately took him away to beat him.
He was my son. They didn't even have the decency to let me say goodbye. My son. They gruesomely beat him so bad, he didn't even look like my son anymore. I can still see the deepest gashes and ripping wounds they made all over him.
It was horrifying. I never thought I would see him like that. Beaten. Bruised.
Did they really expect him to carry that all the way to Golgotha?
I couldn't believe he was still alive. It takes 40 lashes to kill a man. They whipped him 39 times. I definitely didn't think that he was able to carry that cross. And even the people watching, even the soldiers thought that he wasn't able to carry it. They even grabbed the random guy out of the crowd just to help him carry it.
I didn't even know this was happening. I just got into town to visit some family. And as I'm on the main road, I seen this man. Man, he did not look good. So I get on one side, he gets on the other. There was so much blood. And we just go all the way to, what was it? Golgotha? Man, I could still hear him screaming as they hammered those nails into his hands. I didn't know what pain was like till I heard that grown man scream that day.
It was the worst day of my life. No one ever wants to hear their son, their baby, in pain and can do nothing about it. At one point, I couldn't even watch. I buried my face in Maggie's arm.
How could they do this to him? How? How could they do this to him? I couldn't believe I was even there, watching the man who freed me suffer like this.
We owed him everything, and yet could do nothing for him. He lost so much blood. I don't even know how he was able to speak.
He looked at us. And then, through his eyes that were stained with his own blood, he then said,
Woman, here is your son, talking about John. And then he told John,
Son, here is your mother. And just like that, he died.